When you're specifically going to mix someone else's skin tone, you first need to decide whether or not their skin is warm or cool. And you're just going to look at the undertones. And what helps me the most is if they have red undertones, I look and I see, does cadmium red fit better or crimson fit better? So in her case, I would say a cadmium red would fit better. Down here, you've got cadmium red, you've got crimson, and each of those would fit better with the one that they go with, that warm versus cool. If I'm looking at Idris Elba, I would think that this cadmium yellow and the crimson would probably fit best. So that's kind of some ways that you're going to be looking at someone's skin tone. For mixing your own, so this part of the assignment, you're mixing your own skin tone. I'm going to look at this piece that I found here, and I'm looking at my own skin tone. I kind of feel like I might fit into this. I have a warm skin tone, so I feel like I might fit into this burnt sienna with a little bit of cadmium yellow. So I'm going to start out, because I have a lighter skin tone, I will start with a little bit of white here. Get it nice and smooth. Do a little dollop of oil. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of burnt sienna. And then a bit of cadmium yellow. When I hold it up to my skin, it's a little bit similar. I think my skin is maybe a little bit darker, so maybe a little bit more brown. And I'm looking for the undertones in my skin. So I'm going to add just a touch more yellow. I'm getting closer. I feel like there may be a little bit of red undertones. And all of these colors here, so I've got these colors that I showed you here, all of these are going to be really useful. It doesn't mean that if you have warm skin tone, you can only use burnt sienna. Sometimes you can use burnt umber. Sometimes you will maybe use all of them, right? It just is kind of dependent on what your skin tone is and what it needs. And some different areas of your body are going to show up differently in your skin tones as well. You can try it out by sort of painting it on there. So it's a little bit too bright. I think I actually might need a little blue in there. And it's definitely getting closer the more blue I'm adding to it. So you're kind of just testing it out, and you're testing out these different colors to see how can you actually mix a skin tone that's similar to your own. And I would think for a painting that this actually might be a pretty close skin tone to my own, and I'll have a variety of different other like skin tones, like if my cheeks and everything are a little bit different. For my next activity, I'm going to try Idris Elba's skin tone. So I'm going to actually start with burnt umber, just a little bit, and a little bit of burnt sienna, because I can see both some warm and cool in there. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of white, make it more opaque. And if I'm looking at his skin tone, it's obviously not just a mix of these two colors. I'm going to start working in my other colors just like I did with my own skin tone. I'm going to start looking and maybe working in a little bit of cadmium yellow. And a picture is a little bit easier to match, actually, than your skin tone when you're looking in front of you. And I'm adding a little bit of cadmium red. That might have taken it a little bit too red for his skin tone, but maybe not. I think it needs a little more burnt umber. So you're just kind of playing around with those skin tones here, and you're trying to mix and match another person's skin tone that is different from your own, because how often do you paint self-portraits? I think that's a little bit closer, but I'm going to add a little bit of crimson. Got a little too much there. Because it has, his skin tone has a little more red in it. And it's hard to see on the camera, but it's getting very close to his skin tone color up here. And then I would probably be adding a little bit more yellow as I got down toward here, and a little bit more crimson as I went there. So I've got kind of a good basis for how I would start with that. For my grandma's, you can see in this video, or in this picture here, I went and I mixed my grandma's skin tone. She actually has kind of a difficult skin tone because she has very cool and then like some really like cool undertones. So I started with burnt umber, burnt sienna, and crimson. Added some white, and then the way I really got to her skin tone was to actually add ultramarine. So this is kind of the best skin tone I got for her, was this mixture of ultramarine and then a little bit more crimson down here.